There we go.
Is there sound now?
There is sound now.
Any sound now?
Yep, we're good. Hi, everybody.
There we are. Thanks for tuning into the channel tonight, guys. I appreciate you guys coming in for the good old chatting days here with us. I do apologize this weekend. We really have not done any other videos. I haven't gotten a weekend video out. I've been under the weather. The good old flu bug caught me about Friday night, and I've been down for the count. It's amazing that I was able to come back enough to be able to go live with you guys tonight, but yeah. Thanks, Cabrera. I appreciate it. So, yeah. Today, we're going to do a little bit of talking about some newer things that have come up in the automotive world here and there. I don't know if you guys have tuned into the channel this last week, but I did do a helping hand on the live stream over at our Old Car Auto Guy on Thursday evening. And one of the things that we kind of tapped into was the fact that the brand new Jeep Gladiator just came off the line this last week.
Yep.
I think it was Wednesday. The very first one rolled off the line in Ohio, of all places.
Yeah.
Yep. Yes, the beard did survive. It did. It's here. It's looking fabulous as always. Thank you. I appreciate it. So, yeah, the very first Jeep Gladiator, which, if you've been living under a rock, is the first truck platform base since the Comanche back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an actual truck platform that Jeep is putting out to try to contend and get back into the market with the midline trucks. They did away with the Dakota back in, I believe, 2005-ish was like the last one.
I think it was like 05, 06, something like that.
So they've been out of the market for a better part of 10 years now. So now they're trying to get back in the market with the Colorados, the Canyons, the Ford Danger Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I do have to say, I kind of agree with Jonathan there. They are kind of ugly to me. It's not a very utilitarian truck. It's not very big and useful.
I honestly don't think it's the fact that they're ugly. I think it's the fact that it's a new style that people are not familiar with, that people are not accustomed to. So when you, it's just like anything else new. I mean, there's going to be people who's going to like it. There's going to be people who are going to hate it right off the bat. But it's going to be one of those things that's it's going to grow on you eventually. Now, without without seeing one, I mean, granted, we saw one in real life when we went to the car show. We got to walk around and, look at them, but we didn't get any hands-on with it. So once we get one at the dealership, I mean, it might be a different story.
I don't think it's going to be anything different at all.
You think it's just going to be a long?
I think it's just going to be a Wrangler with extended an extra 2 feet with a bed on it.
Yeah, and
that bed is going to be absolutely useless. It's going to be, I'm thinking, under like 4 foot of a bed.
Is this like the El Camino of the Jeep world?
It is the El Camino Jeepo. El Jeepo.
El Jeepo.
That's right. They did have one at the auto show that we went to, and we'll put it this way: they can't hardly fit a dirt bike into the bed of one. They had the tailgate open, and that dirt bike was all the way against the front of that tail, and then the back wheel was all the way at the end of the tailgate to fit into it. That's how long the bed is.
What's up, 410?
Very, very much of a useless line. I'd have to agree with that one. The only thing it's going to be good for is the guys that are out picking up wood, smaller things in the woods, off-road, little things. It's not going to be able to hold sheets of anything.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, was it a Wrangler that we saw, or was it the company got one early and they put tent packages on it? Like there was upfits for it where you could turn the back of it into a tent or something.
There's been those upfits for a long time. Aftermarket companies have been changing them into trucks for a long time. This is actually the first time that Chrysler themselves have put one out on the market themselves as a Jeep Comanche. Unfortunately, I don't think they hit it off just right, but then again, it's a very niche market on top of it. The Wranglers, you either hate them or you love them.
Jeff says, wood? Who collects wood anymore?
Truckmaster does. He definitely collects wood.
That's what he does.
That's what he heats his house off of still. Yeah. But I mean, it's one of those things where you either hate them or you love them.
Well, it's gonna play to the people who like Wranglers already. They're gonna look at it and they'll be like, "Oh, it's a Wrangler, but it's longer." I mean, there's nothing we haven't said already that's gonna change anybody's mind. But It's definitely going to play to a specific market.
It will, and that's one of the things where Jeep being a Jeep right now, with the aftermarket style of things already off the bat, it's going to take off a bunch for them already there because they are already one of the biggest selling aftermarket parts brands that are on the market. People buy those to modify them pretty much. Very, very few times do you actually see one of these that we sell. The guys aren't, I'm going to put 33s at least on it, lift it a couple inches. Even if they don't ever use it, that's the first thing that you automatically do with the Jeep. And I don't know, my personal thought is on that, I don't like Jeeps. I don't like the Wranglers. They ride like a log wagon. There's not enough leg room. I'm like 6'3", and there's just not enough room for legs and knees and arms. I like my space, guys. I like my space.
Yeah. So someone asked him, Jonathan asked, I think it was, no, Jeff did. He said, real question, what is the tow rating on it? Just quick look up says the Gladiator
8
does
pounds.
real
8.5.
It does real truck stuff. Towing capacity with the 3.6 liter V6. The only engine offered at launch is 7,650 pounds, just shy of the diesel Colorado/Canyon, and trouncing the Tacoma.
Yeah, I mean, compared to the other gas line engines, the power is not going to be where it's lacking. It's going to be in its lack of stiff suspension in the rear, which it's not made for truck stuff off the bat.
It's going to drive like a Grand Cherokee.
No, it's not.
You don't think so?
No.
It's not going to have the articulation.
It's going to drive like a
Jeep
truck. It's going to drive like a truck. It's going to drive like a log wagon. Grand Cherokees drive like Cadillacs anymore.
Well, no, I get that. But you remember seeing like the Wrangler and the Grand Cherokee at the truck show where, the Wrangler's got the articulation to go over that big 90-degree hill.
Correct, but it's still a solid axle.
Right.
So you've got all that sprung weight.
Yeah. Whereas
the Grand Cherokee, it's individual sprung, so there's not a lot of weight below the suspension spring line.
Right.
That's where you get your heavy, off kilter driving when you're hitting little bumps and everything just going down the road.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the things that I think it's going to ride absolutely horribly without any weight in the back of it.
Jake says, if you need a truck, buy a truck. Don't buy a Jeep with a birth defect.
I like that one. I like that, Jake. I personally, I wouldn't own one. I will love to modify the shit out of them. I'm sure we're going to get our fair share of them at the dealership. Usually
somebody will bring one in wanting it lifted.
Oh,
guaranteed.
Yeah, it's not going to be that far off. We're going to get one of our first ones. They will keep one specifically right off the bat to keep as a stock unit on our lot. The rest of them
in the showroom
will be modified because generally at our dealership we carry a lot of Rocky Ridge. Their line of lifted Jeeps, we lift and modify our own Jeeps.
You think they'll do a lifted series of it?
They'll send Jeeps to Rocky Ridge for modification on these. And people like the Rocky Ridge ones because they're able to carry more of a warranty with them. Whereas when we put our stuff on it, only the Mopar parts are what's covered under the warranty. If we have to put aftermarket wheels, tires, we want to put light bars and different things on it, those have to be warranted by us. And
I guarantee when we get these in, we send them to Rocky Ridge and we get them back, we're going to have an influx of people who are going to bring their Rocky Ridge Wranglers in, trade them in, and then get these, and then we're going to have a bunch of used Rocky Ridges on the lot.
I mean, it's all a point of the season,
because
No,
it's because the people who buy the Rocky Ridges around here do it for look.
Oh yeah, it's mall crawling.
Because they can.
It's crazy mall crawling.
Yeah, it's not for the fact that they want to go out and have all kinds of fun out doing what Wranglers are supposed to do. They do it so they can be like, hey, look at what I got. Mm-hmm. And then when the new shiny comes out, they'll be like, hey, look what I just got because I traded my old one in.
Exactly.
That's exactly what's going to happen.
Now, Wes, another one of those things, only love for the Mustang and the Shelby. This last week and at work, we did get a crazy trade-in.
Yep.
We ended up getting a 2017 Ford F-150 Shelby Super Snake traded in. So it's an F-150, lowered their suspension base platform. It's crazy off-road suspension with it too, but lowered. It's kind of odd looking there.
It was.
But at the same time, it's got 700 horsepower and big old badass Whipple supercharger on it, and boy, it sounds mean. The original sticker on it was like $102,000
That's
for a
crazy.
Ford truck. I mean,
It's kind of ridiculous.
you realize what that sentence says, right?
Yes.
A
No,
Ford
I
truck.
totally understand what the sentence says, and it sounds ridiculous.
It is. But I guess, people like the name, the Shelby, the Super Snake or whatever.
You're buying it for the snake, is what
you're
doing.
buying it all in there. And it does sound mean. It's not really all that fast comparative to a lot of other vehicles, but all them buff hearses put in under the hearse power engine.
Yeah.
Yep. It's rocking out over 700 of them, and it's a pretty badass sounding Ford. I'm not a Ford fan by any means, but that one I could drive around. It was actually really comfortable to sit in. I was thinking about doing a little thing on it. Ryan, really, thank you. I appreciate the donation. He says, any advice for a first-year apprentice? Now, are you going in through the Chrysler program or the GM program or anything others?
Or are you just
Specific?
starting off in the industry just cold turkey?
Cold turkey.
Cold turkey. Like me. I started cold turkey.
We wish we could go off cold turkey every once in a while.
Yeah. You'll have that.
James Pumphrey. Dude, he is a pretty cool guy. They had a live stream not too long ago where they made, what's the other guy's name? The gallon of milk challenge where you had to chug a gallon of milk within an hour.
We're not doing that.
That was kind of crazy.
We're not
we
doing
could make
that.
Captain Ron do that once. Think Captain Ron could chug a gallon of milk in an hour?
Chug or drink?
You have an hour to finish a gallon.
An hour to do a gallon?
Or was it half an hour? We'll have to look back at it.
Yeah, I think it was an hour.
I think it was an hour.
Ryan said, I'm a first block from college. I'm just a first block from college.
Okay, so you're just in the general program. So the big thing to be in, my thing would be to make sure that if you're in an apprenticeship program, to be in a shop that actually is using the apprenticeship program for like it's supposed to be used for. They're going to put you with a master technician or somebody who does a great amount of training who is master certified.
Or somebody like this.
Yeah, like this guy. Yeah, it happens. But to be able to do that, to have somebody to follow around to show you the ropes ins and out during the dealership times and how the actual work is going to go. In school, they'll be able to show you what the things you're going to be doing is. They give you the basics, some of the general ideas that you're going to be going through. They're able to get you some of the technical things. But as far as actually getting into the job, figuring out how the system works, how to make your time in flat rate hours, everything along those lines, then, it's kind of hard in that aspect. That's where I think you learn probably 85% of everything that you're doing in the physical dealership. And I think you would agree with that.
No, I agree with that totally. I mean, I've mentioned this numerous times on live stream, is that there's only so much that you can learn while you're in school. There's a lot of things that you can learn and that you will learn being in a dealership. Because, granted, you'll get the book smarts out of being in a school environment, but yeah, you won't get the little intricate things of being in a shop unless you're actually in a shop. So, and then if you have questions on stuff like that, I mean, you're welcome to go over and check out my channel, Captain Ron. I'm doing my own series of what I call Intro to Auto, which is getting into school, doing all that kind of stuff as well. So go watch some of my videos; they might give you some answers as well.
Yeah, 410. That was kind of crazy. We saw the Instagram post where he filled it full of sugar. Now the good thing is that sugar doesn't actually blend in with the gasoline, so if you caught it early enough, it's not like it's going to ruin an engine or anything like that. Another one of those references back over to James Pumphrey and his channel where they did that. They just dumped sugar into the gas tank of an older car and just ran the piss out of it, and that thing never died.
Yeah,
never did.
What's up, Craven Cars?
Hey, what's up, buddy? So much more important. Just reading back through some of the comments.
Let's see. Right now, I'm in a mom and pop shop that their son is my journeyman.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So, what's the wildest thing I have ever seen? We did see a brand new Challenger pumped full of sugar one time. Saw that one, and I don't know what kind of vehicle that was. 410. I don't think I was paying attention that much when I saw it, but
I don't think he said.
But the one we did was on a Challenger, and everything from the fill neck up, there was kind of a bottleneck blockage at that. So we didn't have to replace or clean out the fuel tank or anything like that. It all just got stuck like halfway down the fill tube. So we ended up taking that apart, cleaning it, putting it back, and shipped it down the road. We ended up not having to do much for that one. We've seen a couple of pretty bad vandalizations, though, where all of the tires have been slashed. I've seen that once before.
I don't think I've seen that. That must have been prior to me being there.
Brand new Jeep tops with big old slashes in them. We had that happen once. And then one of the very first years back in there in 2012, 10 or 12, right when they switched some of the diesel particulate filters and stuff in the 6.7s over to this big giant whatever behemoth DPF thing. And those things were running at like $3,000-$4,000 to get one replaced. We had 3 of our trucks get those just cut off right on the lot. Somebody just took Sawzall and just chopped off the diesel particulate filters, which is nuts.
Dick Skinner says, I put sugar in my coffee in my Ford and it'll quit running.
I could see that one. But no, here at our dealership, we generally haven't had too many vandalism things, which is odd because in a lot of larger dealerships in bigger towns, you'll see a lot of these vehicles are all locked up. The keys are put into the dealership. Everything's all closed up. Mm-hmm. The dealership itself is gated off, and you can't do anything. At our dealership, all the doors are unlocked on every single car except for our conversion vans that obviously have TVs and stuff in them that could be taken off very quickly.
Yeah.
But all the rest of the cars are all left unlocked. It's just one of those areas that we just don't have that kind of vandalism issues. The worst thing we've had in the last couple of years was somebody took a set of spare tires off of our Rocky Ridge Wranglers.
Took 4.
4 of them that obviously all match, so they got a nice set of 4 wheels off of a Rocky Ridge Wrangler.
Yeah.
That was about the worst thing that we've seen in the last couple of years.
And like you said, we had people cutting the cats off of those one vehicles on the back rows.
Mm-hmm.
We've had that happen lately.
Yep. Now, when I worked at the other dealership, I did work at another dealership for a whopping 7 months. That place was down in, like, the ghetto of downtown Dayton. Legit, like, straight up ghetto. It was kind of crazy to go through that place sometimes. But that kind of dealership, it was totally gated off. They had security that drove by the place every couple of hours just to be sure. Everything was locked up. One time we got a shipment of cars in, and the guy who was prepping the cars was kind of a new guy and didn't know to put wheel locks on all the wheels, like, what was standard practice for that dealership. And then that night we had all 4 of those vehicles that came in brand new. All their wheels were gone. All 4 of them. They did lock up the doors, so nothing disappeared out of the inside, but all 4 sets of wheels were gone. They're all sitting on blocks. Yeah. And like the rear's on blocks, but the bottom's on the ground, and you're just looking at it, you're just like, how did they? You don't even know how they did it. Yeah. They're just the ghetto.
Ghetto.
That's right, it is.
Yeah.
So one of the other things that I wanted to get into tonight, kind of leading through that one, is you see a lot of the customers that we have to deal with nowadays. Us as technicians alone, we don't have to deal with customers too often, but us in dealing with the customers through the service writers. How good of a service writer do you have, I guess, and how well do you have to speak to them? I know one of the biggest things in our industry that we have a shortfalling of is good service writers. And there's a difference between okay service writers and good service writers.
Luckily, we have a good service writer.
We do. We do have a very good service writer. One of the service writers that doesn't have to make you play 20 questions legitimately every single time that you get a repair order. Customers already off the bat, they don't have a sense of what is wrong with their vehicle. They find it very hard to be able to describe sounds, very hard to describe what they think might be wrong with their vehicle. So you do have to play 20 questions with them when you go to fill out any of the repair order sheets or forms to be able to give to the technician. It sucks really half the time when I get a repair order and then, you know, all right, it says vehicle not running right. All right, that's all you're going to put? Is the check engine light on? Does it do it when it's hot, when it's cold? Is it only when you put gas in the vehicle? You got to ask at least 10 questions to be able to figure out, is it running right or not? And one of the lucky things, like I said, we have is a pretty good service writer who is able to ask these things. So when we get our repair orders, it'll say check engine light, and then there'll be a subdescription to that line that'll say, you know, check engine light came on after driving for this long, vehicle's up to temp. It's very nice to see those things. So I want to hear some of the shortcomings that you guys see in your repair orders from those service writers.
Nathan Comel says, at the shop I work at, I'm the service writer, mechanic, and parts manager, and I seem to work great with myself.
I like that one. See, if you just have to rely on yourself, then there's nobody to yell at. I mean, most of the time.
Unless you're yelling at yourself, and then that's kind of redundant. D Pockets 93 donates $10.
Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate that.
We apparently didn't see that a few minutes ago. I don't know if the noise didn't go off or if we just didn't.
You don't have the noise.
It's coming through this. That's why we don't hear it. That's my bad. Oh, well.
I appreciate the donation, guys.
Thank you.
All of the donations that come through on our live streams and chats go back into the channel. All of the fancy equipment that we're using here for the live streams and the equipment that I'm using on the channel all goes back into that. We try to make the channel better every single week, best I can. Over the last couple of weeks, we have had a couple of upgrades to the channel. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but in some of the Wednesdays, I've been using a new microphone, a new lapel mic on myself, so we went to using that one. Hopefully that one's been turning out and making some better audio footage for you guys. Service writer sold a power steering flush on a Fusion with electric steering. That was kind of funny. That is a good one. That's the other thing.
That seems legit.
When the service writers don't understand how these vehicles work, they just automatically, that computer pops up. It goes, ding, this car's at this mileage. You should be selling A, B, C, and D. You're like, no. Just no. Maybe put in there, advise on 30K service.
Right.
Check this, and this. Now, obviously, our service writers, they are in better touch with some of the customers that we see come through also. But when these customers come in and they hand you a coupon for a free oil change, and then they give you a coupon for half off of a tire rotation, so and then they've got a wallet with like $6 in it, it's going to be kind of hard to sell them on any other job.
I honestly hate those kind of jobs whenever they throw those. I mean, granted, they have to keep the tickets together with all the coupons and stuff, but people who bring up, you know, half off oil change or whatever it is, and it's like, I mean, granted, I still go through and check everything, but even if I quote it and say, hey, you need an air filter, you need this, they won't do it. And it's kind of hard to kind of get them to upsell.
Toolbox footage said I need to get a Bob Barker microphone for my videos.
Dude, that'd be awesome.
Coming down to your stream tonight, what do you guys think about this tool? No.
Can I be your Rod Roddy?
Rod Roddy, yeah. You think you can pull off that voice?
Dude, you know I can pull off that voice.
Ryan Harding asked, when I got my Epic, what made me choose the flat black with blue trim? So I was between two options. I either wanted a white one or flat black. I had been, honestly, that's the first time that I had seen JRC54's channel in watching his, because he was the only one on YouTube to have posted a flat black toolbox, and I was totally in love with that one. So in watching that, that's what made me choose the flat black. Then I really wanted blue trim because, as you know, before I had a nice blue Master Series toolbox. I really like the blue. Mopar is the thing in our shop. I love it. But then they didn't have that color. The only blue they had at that time was like this turquoise looking goofy sky blue. It was not right. It's like that 57 Chevy Bel Air blue. It just, no, wouldn't work at all. So I actually ordered mine with flat black with gloss black trim. Now, obviously, when you order a new Epic Toolbox, it takes 6 to 8 weeks, which actually in real life stretches out to like 10 to 12 weeks at minimum.
It was longer than that.
Yeah, it was like 15 weeks on that amount.
It was crazy amount of time.
But at, I believe, 10 weeks into it, I still haven't got my box. They had their Snap-on SFC 18 tool conference, and at that time, they debuted the new blue accent for the toolboxes. We saw it. I saw it on Hostile Tools channel. He had posted some of the pictures from Snap-on conference, and I saw that when I was like, holy crap, they actually have it. And immediately called my guy with Snap-on and said, hey, I saw it. Here's a picture. I took the snapshot off of YouTube, showed it to him. He's like, sure as crap they do. So they called the plant that next day and said, hey, you know, we've got this guy who's ordered this big toolbox, all these 4 pieces. Can we get this? And they're like, you're going to have to wait 2 more weeks because the plant isn't ramped for that. But your toolbox that's coming out will be the first toolbox with that actual blue chrome trim. So that's why my toolbox was number 1 coming off the line with that blue chrome trim for customers.
Yeah.
So I liked it for that fact alone.
Dick Skinner says, power drawer in the locker or not? What's your opinion? Well, you've got both.
I've got the power drawer inside of the toolbox and the power drawer in the locker, and I have to use both of them. There's just not enough power drawer in there. Now, before, on my Master Series, I had the power cabinet on the side, and that thing was full. So I had to have enough room. The one power drawer in either one is not enough room for all the power tools that I have. If you don't have any, you know, if you have more than 5 or 6 tools that you're putting into those chuck spaces, then you're going to want both. But I personally love both of them, and I use them both equally. In my one, I keep most of my off-brand tools, my Milwaukee things. I keep those in my cabinet one, along with my chargers and stuff for the Milwaukee and my my battery jump pack. And then all of my Snap-on stuff I will keep in my other one.
Let's see. How many tagged the OG tool crate stickers?
I think we had, what, 4 or 5?
Yeah, I think there was.
4 or 5 of them. Got your OG Toolheads crate stickers.
I still need to put one on mine.
Yep, which obviously, guys, I need to give you guys a big thank you for signing up for the first month of our Toolheads crate if you were one of the OGs of that line.
Yep.
I really do appreciate that one. If you guys didn't see, the winner of the Golden Wrench went out to Mr. Corey Suttles. His name got drawn in the randomized tool drawing.
I almost redrew it.
We'll have to say Captain Ron is not a fan of Mr. Suttles just because of his lack of love for the leg length.
Wait. I'm a fan of him. I'm not a fan of his choices.
His choices, man. Really?
Yes.
Really?
He can make better choices.
Better choices in the Christmas Story.
Yes. Absolutely.
Sad.
It is.
Sad.
It is sad that he likes it.
But we're just going to have to say he was like a kid in a candy store. He opened up his box and he saw that Golden Wrench tool and he freaked out, which was really cool. He ended up getting that Milwaukee Stubby 3/8 impact for the Golden Wrench tool. And then the funny thing is he used it for a day. And then he told us, yeah, I ended up using it for a day. Loved it so much. Packed up his CT 761, the 3/8 version of the Snap-on, and sold it to his brother.
Yep.
The next day.
What up, Straight 6 fan?
What's up, man? Thanks for tuning back in. Lance?
What up, Lance? And no, I don't have to love it. I will not. It will not happen ever.
Yeah, Craving Cars. It is a really, really good tool. Mine gets used legitimately every single day. It's my go-to when it comes to anything that's, you know, so around a midline hardware.
Do we want to show off what's going to be for this month?
Yeah. If you're able to do that one.
I am able to do that one.
So here for the next month's crate, we ended up partnering with actually quite a few more tool suppliers. So for you guys who have stayed into the account and kept up with it and are going to be getting a second month, you are going to be in for a really awesome surprise. We're able to bring you guys more tools this month. I'm not going to divulge exactly what those are, so it's going to have to be one of those things where you got to get on it to see it. But we did join up with SP Tools, which is going to be a newer company coming into the U.S. They are primarily a German tool manufacturer. They have really nice high-end tools, and they are the ones who have supplied us and helped us get our golden tool for this month. It's going to be a 41-piece half-inch drive set. It's going to be half-inch drive ratchet, a breaker bar, from I think 10 millimeter all the way up to 32 millimeter socket, and then from 3/8 up to 1.25" on the SAE side. It's a really nice kit on there. They were able to get that one. It's going to be a $240 value on that one. So obviously a really nice one for that. So make sure if you guys have not signed up yet for the Toolheads crate, you guys need to go on over to there, and you guys will get a really nice crate this month. It's going to be one that you guys are definitely going to want. Captain Ron's in here looking.
Sorry, I'm still
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, we're done. Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
I thought I could pull the website up. Apparently it didn't want to pull up, so I will put the website in the chat if I can type.
I don't really either, Jake. I don't really get that one, but yeah. It's what's part of the kit. It's all in this nice fancy case and everything to be able to take it wherever you want.
So yeah.
Hard to debate the 4-liter topic. Yeah,
so if you guys go over to Toolheads Crate, you guys can look and see what the website's all about if you guys haven't been there before. But if you scroll down halfway down the front page, you guys will see a picture of the tool kit itself, and all the information is below it.
Now, Danny Antrim, that is partially correct. The V6 Pentastar engine does not have cylinder deactivation. The Hemis do. The Hemis do, but the 3.6 liter does not. They have variable cam timing on that. All 4 cams are able to be variably adjusted, but they do not have cylinder deactivation.
Jake says half-inch 10 millimeters like swatting flies with a sledgehammer.
Yeah, it is. And I do agree, Craven Cars. The Pentastar has been a pretty good engine. After you get out of the very first line, the 2011s and 12s, they had some cylinder head issues, which was odd enough. They only had issues on the front cylinder head for the front-wheel drive-based vehicles or the left cylinder head, because oddly enough, the cylinder heads were made in 2 different foundries. The right cylinder head was made, I believe, in Detroit. The left cylinder head was made in, like, Milwaukee or something like that.
Right.
The left cylinder head was the one we had issues with. They had issues with burning valves and burning valve seats horribly. They actually didn't cast them correctly. So they ended up having all these issues, burning valves on cylinder 2 and 6 usually. So we ended up having to replace a bunch of cylinder heads for that issue. But once you get out of those first couple of year range, then we really don't see that many issues. What's up, Justin ATV? Coming in tonight. Appreciate you coming in. No, they're not horrible, and they get great power for what they are. They're sitting at like right around 300 horsepower. They're way better than the 3.7. The 3.7 was a horrendous engine. If you halfway over revved it, it chucked the rockers out from under the cams. They had horrible oiling issues, horrible timing chain issues. It was a bad one. They couldn't get anything ever to seal right on those motors. Their valve cover gaskets were junk. The 3.6 liter is a totally different platform and totally better engine. Yeah, the oil pigs. Yes, they were.
Don't mind me.
The newer ones have variable valve lift. Yes, the multi-air engines, which is something that I might actually get into doing a video on, those multi-air engines, which was a really cool design. It was something that Fiat brought into the Chrysler line right off the bat. It was something where they were able to bring their multi-air technology in. The vehicles that this one runs in, they started off in the Darts. They obviously, debuted in the Fiat 500. They've come over into some of our Patriots, what was some of the other ones that ran that?
Which one? I'm sorry.
The multi-air engines, the 2.4 multi-airs.
Darts. You said Darts. You said Patriots. The Compass.
Compass, something like that. I think that they're going to be putting that or some kind of that technology in. They actually do not run an intake cam. They have one single cam that runs on the exhaust valves. One of the lobes on that camshaft pressurizes a high-pressure oil pump, which pressurizes this hydraulic block which sits over all of the intake valves.
Oh, the Renegade?
All of those have certain valve opening and closing. It's able to open them at whatever time it wants to. It will actually open those valves multiple times per cylinder firing, which is kind of crazy. Able to actuate it all those different ways. Mm-hmm. And the only thing that we see an issue with is when people don't do their maintenance on those and they run them even like 1.5 quarts to 2 quarts low on oil, they start acting up and they don't want to run right.
Yep. At
all.
Danny wants to know what 4 cylinders have cylinder deactivation on a Hemi.
2, 6, I think 2, 3, 6, 7. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, 2, 3, 6, 7. On those. When you take apart the engine, you'll be able to tell which ones it is by which lifters are in it. That's the only difference mechanically that's different inside the engine is the hydraulic lifters. You will see this small little circle and an opening in the side of the lifter. That is where they're able to feed oil into the passage to keep that chamber in that lifter primed all the time to work normally. And then how they deactivate the cylinder, they will then shut off the oil pressure to that side of the lifter, which allows the lifter to then collapse. The cam will obviously keep on turning around in its same rotational pattern, but every time that lifter goes up and the piston, I know bad little pun here, but then that push rod will push down into the lifter without lifting the valve.
Now we got a mature rating. Thanks a lot.
My bad, guys. My bad. Visual. I'm visual.
You know, it's funny. We're talking about this, and the other day I had those 2 scat packs to prep, and I got to take those out and drive them. I could actually feel, like it shows on the display when it's running in 4-cylinder or 8-cylinder mode, and I could actually feel the difference, and I could actually feel when those other cylinders kicked in, and it was kind of a neat sensation to feel, because like you drive a typical V8 or Hemi, and you don't see that, so you don't have the correlation with driving it, so you don't necessarily feel it.
Now, that was one of the things that Chrysler, right off the bat, when they started the MDS programming back in 2006, they specifically had issues with customers not liking that feeling. They just felt like, wow, my vehicle's doing something wrong, this isn't right. So for the next 3 years, they specifically tried to make the programming and the valves and the oil actuation into those different lifters as easy and as smooth as possible to make it as seamless as they could, and to where the people couldn't tell exactly what was going on with that. That is one of the other reasons why there is another exhaust valve in those more high-performance cars.
Right.
Because when that 4-cylinder mode kicks in, you're going to see a different tone of a note tone to that exhaust sound, so they tone that back at the same time. Normally, yes, they will open those exhaust valves wide open at wide open throttle and then, close them back up, but they close them even more when it goes into 4-cylinder mode, so you don't hear it as much.
Right.
She's having a problem. The car keeps jumping all of a sudden, like whenever she slows down, makes forward and go back.
Dude, that's almost like what's happening with the Pacificas.
So the other thing with those vehicles is people aren't liking the programming of the transmission. That's different. It's a different transmission. But that would be the first thing that I would look back onto on that Town and Country, is the making sure the software is up to date on the transmission, making sure the transmission fluid is up where it's supposed to be, make sure they don't have any leaks in the transcooler lines, which is where they usually always leak at. Make sure it's not low on fluid there. That's where I would start. Usually that's where they had their issues. Thanks for tuning back in, Toolbox Footage. I appreciate you stopping in.
Yep. Have a good one, Toolbox.
Yep. My favorite 3 engines. 7.3 power strokes, 4BT Cummins, and a 4-liter Jeep engine.
Look who finally showed up. 44 minutes in.
Uh-huh.
What's up, Jim?
Catching the end of the sermon. At least he's in here.
This is true. Hi, buddy. So, what else we got to talk about?
I don't know.
What do you got going on this week?
This week,
you got some catching up to do.
I got a lot of catching up to do. Like I said, guys, I apologize for not having a weekend upload. I have been under the weather with the flu since Friday evening. So
no excuse.
I was going to have a really awesome upfit video for the Duramax this last weekend. We've got some really cool stuff to put onto it. We've got a high-performance lift pump, new fuel lines to put on it, a sump and filtration system to be able to put on it as well to go in the fuel tank, a new race fuel valve for the fuel rail, and a resonator delete for it as well. All really not that hard of stuff, but stuff that's going to be very optimal for the Duramax and stuff that I was really wanting to do. I just couldn't get myself to be able to do it today when I was finally feeling better. But that's what it's going to be getting hopefully this next week. Wednesday, we're still going to be kicking it off and doing it right with the
Nifty Tools
of the Week video. Not going to, move that one away from its special day. So, yeah. The Duramax is going to be getting a lot of cool stuff moving on forward then, too. We've got some pretty big plans on it. And for you 32 people in here, you guys can get in on exactly what's happening. I did end up getting a new sponsorship for it as well. Ryan's Diesel Performance Service out of Wisconsin are actually doing a big hookup with me. They did one with Truckmaster and Bertrand 850 as well. They're hooking me up with a Ryan's Performance Diesel 68 millimeter turbo. So the big girl is getting some big old badass new turbo, shoving all that air down into her.
New turbski.
But at the same time, I think what we're going to do is a lot more to it as well. I think we're going to be pulling the cab off.
It's not the fact that you have to do more. Well, it's not the fact that you need to do more.
Oh,
it's
no.
the fact that you have to do more.
Yeah, that's going to be a have to do more because after we've got our exhaust stuff all covered now. We've got new up pipes. We've got the new downpipe exhaust going out the back. Now this week we're going to upgrade the fuel coming up. And then we've got to get some more air into her. So we'll have probably at that time a new Y bridge because obviously at those pressures that Y bridge is probably going to blow out. So we're going to have to upgrade the Y bridge. And then where I'm planning on going with this build is right around a 750 horsepower truck. I'm not planning on going balls to the wall at 1,000 horsepower on a 7-inch lifted truck. That's just kind of ridiculous and kind of stupid. So we're not going there. But we're going to make it really awesome for what it has. And to be able to do that, there's got to be some other modifications that are going to have to be built on that one as well. That's why I think that we're going to be taking the whole cab off at the same time we do the turbo. And I think we're going to be pulling the heads and doing head studs and doing some porting and polishing on the heads as well. Trying to get all the air and efficiency out of those that we can. I know the heads, they don't have that many issues that they're known for, but I think that we can make them just a little bit better. So we'll probably be doing that at the same time, like I said, with the Y bridge and the Super Turbs. Yep, Super Turbski. That's right. Big old Ryan's Performance Diesel. And if you guys are around the Wisconsin area, Ohio, Michigan, Illinois, right around there, the Ryan's Performance Diesel with Truckmaster and Bertrand 850, we are putting on a really big truck show there at their place. If you really want the details and everything, go over to Truckmaster's channel and check that one out because he's got all the details. It's going to be held June 22nd, and it's going to be at 1 p.m., I believe, is when the actual show starts. We're going to try to get there a day early to be able to do some videos and shots of that one. Craving Cars, JRC is right up in the Chicago area, and that show is actually only about an hour and 20 minutes northwest of Chicago is where that show is going to be held. So It's not that far of a drive. It's going to be probably around a 6.5, 7 hour drive for me to get there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to be a huge show. There's going to be me, Truckmaster, Dalton, Bertrand 850. We're going to try to get a couple of other ones from down south. Whistling Diesel is supposed to be there. Duramax Diesel from out in California, I think, is going to make the trip. And Street Speed.
That's a hell of a drive.
Street Speed 717 might even be showing up, which will be kind of be crazy to see him. That, and if we can get Send It Steve to come too, I think that'll be freaking awesome. But already, right off the bat, since they announced this thing like a week ago, they've got 350 people saying that they're going. Already.
Somebody in the chat said they're going to be there. A Miller 330 said
exactly.
they're going to be there.
Exactly. It's going to be awesome to be there. Greg A. Albarella, I can never say his name right, but he does some badass stuff with Dodges that he runs for his racing team and on his channel. It's really cool to see that guy. Hopefully he'll be coming as well. Let's see, who else was it that they were trying to get? Dirty Max Jack, he was not able to make it. He sends his regards, but he won't be able to be there. But
Justin ATV.
Justin ATV,
I will not be there.
Come on, man. It's not that much farther of a drive. It's only 4 hours farther than me. But anyways, it's going to be a really awesome time. And if you guys can make it up there, it's also going to be a dyno day. So they're going to have like 1 or 2 different dynos set up. $100 a piece to do 3 pulls on the dyno full out for you guys right out in the open.
I'm going to suggest that you not do that.
What? Not full pull dyno on the truck that I have to drive 6.5 hours on?
Yes.
I'm definitely doing it. Yeah, JRC.
Who's coming to pick you up?
Now, see, JRC, if we get the Dodge going before that time, you know we're gonna have to be taking 2 trucks too. So it depends on if we can get that Dodge up and going for that show too. Because wouldn't it be awesome to have a Dodge and a Chevy representing the Ohio land?
It would be.
That would be pretty badass. I'm just saying. So we got to see about being able to get that one too.
Straight 6, thanks for hanging out with us, man, for a little bit. You
just bought a 100-gallon transfer tank to have fuel for the whole weekend, and you're gonna have some for me too, right? Yeah. See you, Grant. Thanks for stopping in, 6-man. Yep. So what do you have going on for your channel this week?
This week I'm kind of up in the air about my channel for this week because...
Yes, Jim, June 22nd.
Because of the simple fact that I went and I did a Mopar Cap program video for my channel. You know, I put a lot of time talking to the coordinators, the professors, and everybody else I needed to talk to. It just hasn't got a ton of traction like I would have expected it to. So I'm kind of on the fence on whether I want to do the ASEP and the performance. I might do a video of them and throw them both in at the same time. But I mean, for me, I'm just trying to get through the next 6 weeks.
See,
man.
I personally disagree. I think it was a really good video, and I think that you're going to get traction.
It was a little long.
I don't think it was that bad of a that
20
long.
minutes, and it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, it could have. But I don't think 20 minutes is a horrible video. Yes, you lose some traction in the amount of time, but it was a really interesting video. It had a lot of great talking topics to it. So I think that you'll get enough traction in it later on. I think that series needs to go further. Personally.
I know, and I'm not going to stop doing the Intro to Auto series by any means because it is something. What?
Justin says you need the sticker in the steering wheel that says "Remember, you duff, you have to drive this thing home."
You do, yeah, you do. It's just like we've got a charger at school and it doesn't have brakes, and somebody took green tape on the front and wrote on the steering wheel "No brakes." Just so you remember, doesn't have no brakes.
See, and that's the whole point of why we really need to have that Dodge to go too, because if we break one of them, then we got another one to tow the other one home.
That's true.
So we just are specifically going to take
much rather
2 trucks and a trailer.
You not break your truck.
Yeah,
that's just me.
What are we going to do? We're going to take 2 trucks and a trailer. Why are you bringing the trailer? We just figured we're probably going to break one of the trucks.
Andrew said I showed the Hellcat Dart in it.
Mm-hmm. Because, the next thing after doing all these performance mods, and, I get the turbo all put in there, and we're probably going to be doing an injector build, too. What's not going to like it? The transmission.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, the transmission's not
And
gonna
Andrew,
like it.
I totally get that with the long range views of it, because I mean the video is going to be up there forever, and people are going to see it over time. So I understand that. It was just kind of disheartening, I guess is not the word, but it's the word I can think of. That it just didn't get more traction than what it did. So more than likely, this coming week, I'm going to do interviews and go over information for the Honda, the Honda power. The Honda program, the ASEP program, which is GM, get some information on those, do a video over those. I'd like to do a tool video. It's hard for me to do a tool video in the middle of the week or anything like that right now because A, I'm not at the shop, and B, you guys have seen all my tools in the toolbox. I mean, granted, I got a new set of wrenches, but that's about the extent of it.
Mm-hmm.
I got a feeling that more than likely my next tool video is not going to be until I make my final purchase for school to complete out what I can get at a discounted rate. So
I personally think it would be awesome to see the ASAP one and the high performance program videos in with it, at least in their own.
Yeah, I will definitely do one of those, and I'll put one of those out for the end of the week. I just got to do the recording for it this week. And then, I don't know, I might try to splash another video in there somewhere. If you guys want something to watch that is not school or car oriented, I can throw up a link, or you guys can check out my Instagram tomorrow. If you haven't seen my Instagram, it's the CPTN Ron. But I'm going to be going and getting a tattoo tomorrow. It's going to be my third Ninja Turtle tattoo.
Thank Brad.
So if you guys want to come hang out and watch me get tattooed, you're welcome to do that too. Tattooed. But yeah, I'm going to be adding to the turtle collection. So got to get that done. If he doesn't cancel on me again.
You better not. We'll choke him.
No kidding. But yeah, other than that, that's about all I got. Just trying to get through the next 6 weeks so I can be done.
Yep. As far as, I've had a couple of people ask me over the last couple of weeks when I'm going to be doing some more shop talk, some more shop videos, and it's one of the things where I don't know if I've fallen behind on them, but haven't really got a whole lot of specific questions for that. So if you guys have specific things that you want me to do videos on around the shop, my viewpoints on, how the dealership works, the flat rate system, I've already done one video on that, but I could do other ones. Like I said, feel free. You guys can leave some comments into that. Send me an email. If there's any other videos that you would like to see done, specific tool videos. I know I get lots and lots of questions on certain tools that they see within my Toolbox tour that I don't go into detail about, and I try to get to all the questions asked over a week or so, but sometimes it might take me a little while to get to. So if you guys do have any questions, feel free to ask those, and I will see what I can do about doing that and fitting them in on other videos. That's about all I've got for you guys tonight. I appreciate you guys tuning in this evening. Cutting off a little early, about an hour long on this one. There was another show that I wanted to cruise on over into. Nova Taz, if you guys haven't heard of him, he does have his channel going to a live stream here at 9 p.m. as well. So make sure you guys go on over to his channel to tune into that one as well.
I'm assuming this is it.
We're going to put the link up to his as well. He's got 1,231 subscribers. He does a lot of really cool in-shop talks and some work on some older cars, some kind of nifty stuff. So make sure you go give him a tuning in too as well. I appreciate it, guys. Like I said, if you have any other questions, feel free to send them. If you haven't already, go and check out the toolheadscrate.com subscription crate service that we've put on. That one's going to be getting better and better all the time. Thank you again, and as always, you guys stay awesome.
We'll see you next time.